Time for some Disney California Adventure Dining reviews. What's going on, everybody? I'm David, and this is our family's small shop, Mickey and Mandy. We are Disney adults that create custom bags, screen-printed shirts, and handmade home decor inspired by everybody's favorite magical theme parks and perfect for your next visit to the Disneyland Resort. And on the topic of the Disneyland Resort, I welcome you back to another entry in our Disneyland series where we share our thoughts on the rides, the parks, the dining, everything in between. And to further segue, today we're going to be talking about my thoughts on some of the places that we went to eat, snack, and drink during our day at Disney's California Adventure. It's going to follow a very similar formula to our Disneyland video from a couple weeks ago, where I'm going to talk about where I went, what I got, and would I go back? So hopefully answering the question of, is the food at Disney California Adventure actually good, or is it just at fun spots? So let's not waste any more time. Let's pull on that yellow strap and get going. In my number 5 spot, the first place that I'm going to be talking about is Smokehouse Jumper over at Grizzly Peak, which honestly, this being the first spot that I'm going to talk about is appropriate because this is where we went for breakfast. We actually went here right after we rope dropped Soarin'. And with it being in Grizzly Peak, just like Soarin' and a lot of other spots at Grizzly Peak at Disney California Adventure, Smokehouse Jumper is sort of in this old aircraft hangar, kind of like this mess hall kind of a setup here. And this is where we went for breakfast. So I got the breakfast burrito, and I also got their seasonal cold brew coffee. I'm going to talk about the breakfast burrito first. It was a solid breakfast burrito. It had bacon, sausage, egg, cheese, and I think there were hash browns in it as well. And it did come with this sort of green salsa for dipping. And overall, it was a solid breakfast burrito again. But for me, I think it was slightly a letdown because I had just had the breakfast chimichanga the day before, and I think I was starting to hold all breakfast that I was ever going to have at a Disney resort again to that same standard as the breakfast chimichanga, and that's just not fair. But overall though, solid breakfast burrito. I will say that Smokehouse Jumper is more known though for its lunch and dinner options, with the spot being Smokehouse Jumpers. They've got burgers and they've got other things like that. But again, overall breakfast burrito solid, exactly what you would expect out of a bacon, sausage, egg, cheese, and hash brown breakfast burrito. And that salsa did add some much needed heat to the breakfast burrito. The cold brew that I got, again, it was seasonal, so it's unfortunately not there anymore, but I think the cold brew is kind of the reason why this is in my number 5 spot, because it was okay, but it was a little too creamy for my liking, which meant it was a little too sweet. Although it did have a good contrast with the breakfast burrito being primarily savory, it was just a little too sweet for my liking when it comes to a cold brew. The seasonal one that they have right now is called the Bear Claw Basin Cold Brew, I believe is what it's called. The one that I got had like chocolate Rice Krispies sprinkled on top. I think that was the other reason why I didn't much care for the breakfast, or the cold brew rather, was because it was almost too much showmanship. Didn't really, the chocolate Rice Krispies didn't really do a whole lot for me. It didn't really add anything to the coffee, so it was really just an extra creamy coffee drink, which, I don't know, maybe I'm the weirdo in that scenario. For me, I don't know if I would go back here for breakfast. I would go back here at the very least to try lunch and dinner, because again, that is more what they're known for, but I would probably steer clear of this spot for breakfast. For my number 4 spot, we are going to go to the other side of Disney California Adventure to Terran Treats, a standalone cart over at Avengers Campus. It was here where I tried the Cosmic Cream Orb. From what I was able to gather, this is sort of a very weird rite of passage for anybody who is going to Disney California Adventure or experiencing Avengers Campus for the very first time. This was more or less a cream puff with sort of this crumbly, almost like chocolatey exterior, but then it had a raspberry cheesecake cream filling. 2 flavor profiles that on paper I wouldn't necessarily put them together because they're just so unbelievably different. But I think that's almost why it works. Because again, a lot of the reviews that I was hearing about the Cosmic Cream Orb made it sound like that it was super weird and that it's almost like a prank to have somebody try it. I personally didn't think that it was all that bad. I thought it was an interesting treat. Again, with the coating on the outside of that cream puff with the raspberry cheesecake cream filling. Again, it is two different flavor profiles with like a slight bitterness from the exterior of the cream puff with a very tart, creamy interior. It did make for different textures and flavor profiles, but I didn't think it was bad. I don't know if I would necessarily go back for this specific treat at Avengers Campus, but what I will say about Terran Treats is during my research to refamiliarize myself with Disney California Adventure, they do have almost like seasonal and special cream puffs that they do have at Terran Treats. Right now they have these, they're Infinity Stone ones. So they have 6 of them, the different colors of the Infinity Stones, and they each have a different flavor profile. So I don't know if I would go back for repeats, but it's at least worth walking by to see what sort of seasonal offerings they do have. Because that's kind of the other nice thing about Avengers Campus overall, is that they add things and take things away based off of the movies and the shows that they're coming out with. So you're always going to be guaranteed that there's going to be something new and different and special from a dining perspective and from an entertainment perspective as well. All right, and for my number 3 spot, if you've been following us for a little bit now, you do know that for my rankings and my must-dos and things like that, I like to cheat a little bit. So for my number 3 spot, this is going to be my cheating one. This is going to go to Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs, which, for those of you watching that are go Disneyland, I know it's not in California Adventure, but my mindset here is that I went here during my California Adventure day, and I didn't really go to any other spots in downtown Disney, so that's why we're going to talk about it here. But in my number 3 spot, again, it is going to go to Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs over at downtown Disney. It was here where I got the giant mozzarella stick, and that's not an exaggeration. It was about yay big. So yeah, let's talk about this mozzarella stick, because this wasn't initially on my Disneyland must-do when it came to a dining perspective, but I saw a video right before we went that they were bringing it back because it can be seasonal, this mozzarella stick, because again, it's a corn dog stand. So it's mostly corn dogs and hot dogs, so the fact that they had a mozzarella stick is like, what? But I kind of went into this pretty skeptical, because something that's touted as a giant mozzarella stick, you're going to think that it's all novelty and that there really isn't anything to offer there from a flavor perspective. But I was pleasantly surprised and was proven completely wrong. It actually has a very nice flavor to it. The cheese, I mean, it's mozzarella cheese, so you've got that going for you. But the breading on the outside, it was almost like this, like Italian herb sort of a flavor profile to it. And the breading didn't fall apart. It all stayed really well intact. And obviously has an amazing cheese pull, as I'm sure you'll see in the videos that I'm posting over this while I'm talking. So amazing cheese pull, some pretty good flavor profile from the mozzarella stick itself. Came with a marinara sauce that added a nice balance of somewhat sweet and acidity to the mozzarella stick. I will say we did wait a little long for this, but you can see when you're standing there that they are making the corn dogs, the hot dogs, the mozzarella sticks fresh right there in front of you. We did wait a little long for the mozzarella stick, but again, given the fact that they are making all of the corn dogs and hot dogs and mozzarella sticks fresh right there in front of you, and the mozzarella stick is a seasonal thing that a lot of people enjoyed, I'm not super surprised by the wait, and it really didn't bother me all that much. It ended up being super delicious in the end and a perfect snack to end the day until we got back to our hotel in Huntington Beach. So there's that. Given the sheer size of this thing, though, you can definitely share this. This is not something that you necessarily need to or should eat solo. I think the only other thing that I'll mention about Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs is, again, I've said it before, it does have some seasonal offerings. I don't know if I would necessarily go back every single time when I go to Disneyland, because there are plenty of, let's face it, better dining options at downtown Disney, from what I've heard. I almost called it Disney Springs. Hopefully some Disney World people caught me. But there are, just objectively so, there are better dining options at downtown Disney. There are better dining options within the parks themselves. So I would kind of consider this the same strategy as I've mentioned with Terran Treats, is walk by, see if there's something new that's intriguing that you haven't had before. Otherwise, you can probably just keep walking. And then for my number 2 spot, I'm going to give it, we're going to actually go back to Disney California Adventure. We're back in the park now, but we're going to give it to the Cozy Cone Motel over in Cars Land. It was here where I got the bacon mac and cheese cone. It was at Cone 3, the chili cone queso. It's not my joke, it's theirs, but it's still very funny. I'm also going to apologize here. Buttered you up with a joke. I don't actually have any footage of the bacon mac and cheese cone. I'm a bad content creator and I do apologize. We were all very hungry at this moment in time, so phone did not eat first. We ate first and we made a huge mistake. But what I will tell you about the bacon mac and cheese cone, it was so good, because it was an incredibly creamy mac and cheese, super crispy bacon, and the smokiness of the bacon added a very nice flavor profile to the rest of the mac and cheese, and the whole thing's in a bread cone. So after you're done eating the mac and cheese, oh darn, now I have a cone full of cheese and bread and it's going to be delicious. Whatever will I do? And again, given the sheer size of the cone itself, this is definitely one that you can share. There is also, again, it's chili cone queso, so there is a different option there that if you're like a group of 4, you could definitely get 2 cones and you could share, you could pass back and forth, whatever you want to do. You definitely can share 1 cone from the Cozy Cone Motel. And I would absolutely go back to Cozy Cone, not just to cone number 3 to get the bacon mac and cheese, but what's great about the Cozy Cone over in Cars Land is that each cone has different food and drink offerings, and some of them do have some seasonal things that you can definitely go back and you can get some favorites like the mac and cheese, or you can go back and try something new each time that you go. And it was also nice because this was a portable snack. This is definitely one that you can just sort of carry with you while you explore the rest of Cars Land. What we did is we found an empty table over at Flo's and we just kind of got the people watch, and we watched Lightning McQueen roll up. It was a lot of fun. So, I mean, between the delicious lunch and the vibes of Cars Land in general, would definitely go back to Cozy Cone. All right, and for my number 1 spot, we are going to give it to, and this is going to be a controversial one, but we're going to give it to Pim's Test Kitchen over in Avengers Campus. I say it's controversial because I feel like there are certain Disney Dining reviewers out there that don't really have great things to say about Pim's Test Kitchen, but I need you to hear me out. For me, I personally liked the food. I didn't think the food was necessarily bad, but I also really like the atmosphere, and I'm also a huge Marvel fan. But I'll break down more about what I liked about this place. Starting off with the atmosphere. While you are standing in line, waiting to be able to order your food, there's all these different things that are going over your head, that they're shrinking or they're getting bigger. So you're getting giant pretzels or you're getting smaller pretzels. So there's kind of some fun little things happening there. And as you're looking around, there are just little Easter eggs almost to kind of show you that we're playing with Pim particles in food. Like what's above your head are giant soda cans, and the hoses come out of the cans and go into the soda machine kind of over across the way there. So there's a reason behind all of the decor that is in Pim's Test Kitchen. But now getting into the food, what I got here was the not so little chicken sandwich, and it came with tater tots. And I did get a drink from Pim's Tasting Lab, but we're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna circle back. The not so little chicken sandwich and the tots. The tots, I'll be real, they were regular run-of-the-mill tots. Nothing super awesome to write home about there, but they're tater tots, so that's always going to be a win. With the not so little chicken sandwich, what I heard from some people was that the chicken was very dry and that there wasn't really a whole lot of flavor to it. Not a whole lot of great things to say about the not so little chicken sandwich. But after I had it, I can tell you the reason why it might be a little dry sometimes when you get this is because it's a flattened down chicken cutlet, more or less. So when you flatten a piece of chicken down like that, and if you're not careful about the cooking of it and the frying of it, then yeah, if you overcook it, it is going to be dry. That's just kind of how that works. So totally fair in that review, but it just kind of depends on if you drew the unlucky number when it came to how your chicken sandwich was prepared. For us personally, it was not too dry, so I enjoyed it. And I also thought the breading had a lot of really good flavor to it as well. It was a reasonable amount of coleslaw that was on there, which I was a little concerned about. Sometimes people like to overload the coleslaw on a sandwich like that. I think my only knock on the sandwich is that it was a big piece of chicken on a regular size bun. So this isn't something that you can just pick up and eat. This is something that you're gonna have to kind of cut into. But on the upside, because of how big it is, this is a shareable item. So would I go back to Pim's Test Kitchen? I personally would, again, for a couple reasons. I really like Marvel, so anything in Avengers Campus to me is going to be a win. But there's also a lot of different food options over at Pim's Test Kitchen, and like a lot of other spots at Disney California Adventure, they do have seasonal options. So even if you go and you're somebody who doesn't necessarily like the not-so-little chicken sandwich, no worries, go back next time for your next trip and you'll be able to get something different. There are plenty of other dining options, but I did mention also that the atmosphere was a lot of fun. We got to sit outside, and it's not even people watching. There's Marvel characters out and about. So we got to see Iron Man and Black Widow, and I think we saw Hawkeye and Taskmaster, Black Panther, Captain Marvel. It was so much fun. You get to see all of your favorite Marvel characters walking around Avengers Campus while you're enjoying your lunch. So as a Marvel fan, I defy you to find something that's better. And although that was my #1 spot, I do have one extra treat for you here. But before we get into that, I do want to ask, if you haven't already, be sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. It's support like this over here on our YouTube that allows us to continue making Disney Parks content like this. You also don't want to miss out on any future Disney Parks content. And if you haven't already, be sure you check out our family small shop. That's www.mickeyandmandy.com. My mom gets to make these handmade custom bags like this Loungefly style bag, perfect for a day at Disneyland. My sister and I get to make screen printed shirts, and me and my dad, we get to make some of the home decor that you see behind me in my videos as well. All right, now for the special treat. I did mention earlier that with Avengers Campus, I also went to Pim's tasting lab. So I didn't want to just give you a review only of the dining. I also did get a couple of drinks while I was there too, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on where I went. I am gonna need my notebook for this one because there are some very specific notes and numbers in here. It's very specific. So yeah, we're kind of doing I guess you can call it Mickey and Mandy after hours here, because this is my drink review at Disney California Adventure. This is in no particular order, no ranking. I'm just telling you where I went, what I got, and what I thought of it. So the first place that I went to was Bayside Brews in Paradise Gardens. We went here after we wrapped up our time at Pixar Pier before we met up with some friends. And it was here that I got the Carl Strauss Brewing Aurora Hoppyalis IPA. I rated this a 3.5 out of 5 on Untapped. It was hoppy, it was tropical, light, smooth, fruity. What I appreciated about this being an IPA was more hazy than a regular IPA. So because of that, it's not super piney like you get in a lot of stereotypical IPAs. It was actually pretty refreshing as the day was starting to warm up. And because it wasn't super hoppy, it did allow some of the other tropical and citrusy flavors to kind of show through, so it made for a very balanced beer. And also just in general, this was a super fast, quick service stop. They were with it at Bayside Brews. And I do owe you a review from Pim's Tasting Lab. It was here that I got the Honey Fusion 2.0. Now, this is not a drink that is there right now, but from what I've been able to gather, they do rotate this particular cocktail back in every now and then, and a lot of the cocktails that my friends got at Pim's Tasting Lab, they had great things to say about it. For my cocktail though, the Honey Fusion 2.0, this came with Honey Jack Daniels lemonade. It didn't specify which IPA, but you could taste it. There was an IPA in this. And also made with a honey syrup. So a lot of sweetness and a lot of bitterness from the hops of the IPA. I want to say it was Space Dust maybe was the IPA. That sounds right. I think it was Space Dust IPA. So yeah, super bitter IPA, but with a very sweet whiskey and the honey syrup. So you got some interesting things going on there. But because of how sweet it still was, it did pair very nicely with the savoriness of the chicken sandwich and the tots that we got from Pim's Test Kitchen. And then the last place that I will review for where I got drinks at Disney California Adventure was Hollywood Lounge in Hollywoodland. Now, I'm gonna give this one a bit of an asterisk because you might wanna go here while you can, because I think there are some parts of Hollywoodland that have a bit of a question mark over them, because we don't know what exactly is going to be taken out of Hollywoodland when they bring in the new Avatar land. We do know that Mike and Sully to the Rescue is going to be a casualty of that particular revamp. Not sure about Hollywood Lounge though, so if you're planning a trip soon, get there while you can. But anyway, what I got here was the Route 30 Brewing Hazy Day IPA. I was in a hazy IPA, but I don't know what to say. This one got a little bit of a higher rating of a 3.75 out of 5 on my Untapped. It was smooth, it was fruity, it was very bright and floral. It was significantly warmer in the day by the time I got this particular beer, so this was actually kind of dangerous how quickly I was able to drink this. And when it comes to Hollywood Lounge as a whole, it was a little slow there, but it was a big area. A lot of people were getting drinks there. And again, it was kind of at a warmer part of the day. So a lot of people kind of had the same mindset as me and my friends where we're, hey, let's go and run over here and grab a quick drink. But for the time being, they do have a lot of seasonal offerings. Definitely keep an eye on Hollywood Lounge though, because again, we don't know if it's coming or going when they redo all of the Avatar stuff. So just keep your eyes peeled. And those are our Disney California Adventure dining reviews. Obviously, I didn't go everywhere at Disney's California Adventure, so for those of you that frequent Disneyland, let us know in the comments. What are your favorite places to get breakfast, lunch, dinner? What are your favorite spots to get a cocktail over at Disney California Adventure? And again, be sure you subscribe over here on our YouTube so you don't miss out on future Disneyland series videos, and we also post behind the scenes videos about how we make some of the awesome handmade products like these on my family small shop, mickeyandmandy.com. And on the topic of that small shop, be sure you follow us over on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. That way you don't miss out on new product drops, the sales that we're going to be running, and this is where we post about all of our weekly ready to ship drops, because we do have ready to ship drops that happen every Saturday. But we thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you real soon.